The Budgeting with Confidence Predictable Paycheck Planner Kickstarter is finally live. From Tuesday, January 27th until February 17th, you can pre-order your very own Predictable Paycheck Planner. This planner isn't just your basic traditional budgeting system, but my method of budgeting that you have been listening to and learning about each and every week here on the podcast. You're going to set up your very own digital cash envelope system, bill system, base budgeting system, and so much more that you can start budgeting with predictability through consistent numbers, boundaries to prevent overspending, and the ability to spend your money without the fear of it affecting something else. You are going to quickly get off the paycheck to paycheck roller coaster you have been living on. You are going to transform your budget and start building wealth, saving money, covering the unexpected expenses that life throws at you, and living in financial peace and stability because you are financially secure. Oh my gosh, that just feels so great, doesn't it? But not only are you going to get to start implementing this stress-free budgeting system, you are also going to do it with God. Throughout the entire planner, there are checkpoints and refocus points that help you see what is going on with your money, but to also see where your energy is and where your heart is. It's going to help you reconnect with God in your finances so that you're not only relying on your own strength to make this happen, you are also going to be able to lean on God and realign your heart with His. I am so excited for you to get your hands on this planner so that you can start transforming not only the way you budget, but the way you look and feel about money. As I said, pre-orders are officially open, and I want to invite you to head over to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner and pre-order your planner today. Now, if you are listening to this on day one, so January 27th, I want to let you know that there is a special launch day early bird price that you don't want to miss out on, and it's only available on the 27th. And there are a limited number of planners at this price, so make sure you get there quickly. But don't worry if you're catching this later, because there are many more amazing packages for you to pick from. You can simply just get a planner for yourself, get a few different bundles of planners at discounted prices that you could maybe bless your friends and family with. But there's also the ability to pair your planner with coaching with me so that you can start on the right foot and get your planner set up with my help. So go to the Kickstarter campaign, check out all the packages, pick one that speaks to you. To see all of your options, all you have to do is simply go to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner, or you can find the link in the show notes as well. I am so excited for you to get your hands on this because having a stable income and predictable budgeting is just around the corner. Struggling to stick to your budget and you just don't know what to do? Like, you feel like you've tried everything and still end up abandoning your budget 3 days later. I don't know how many times I've done that. I have tried to cut back every expense that I can. I've tried to cut out bills, yet still something pops up to throw everything out of whack. That is why in today's episode, we are going to go over 4 ways a planner will help you stick to your budget. So go get your drink, open your heart to God, and let's dive in. If you're ready to build wealth, ensure financial security, stop overspending, and finally create a budget you can stick to, you mama are in the right place. Hi, I'm Molly, a budget coach and financial strategist who went from living paycheck to paycheck to paying off debt, saving money, and going on vacation, all by budgeting. And I help mamas just like you budget and create God-centered systems and routines so that you too can have financial freedom. Now stop pinching those pennies and let's dive in. Want to get ahead financially? Worried that you don't make enough money? Tired of sacrificing your goals? I mean, are you ready for a simple, stress-free budget you can finally stick to? When I first started budgeting, our system was simply to pay bills first, buy groceries right away, and then do whatever with what was left over. Money went out just as quickly as it came in, and we never had the money for anything, or at least that's what it felt like. We were stressed, overwhelmed, and stuck. We felt like we had nothing to show for our money and desired to do so much more. So after years of research and growth, I created the predictable paycheck budgeting method. This brought consistency to our paychecks, prevented overspending, and gave us freedom. No longer are we riding the paycheck to paycheck roller coaster. We are building wealth, saving money, financially secure, and it was fast and easy. We were instantly saving money, no longer sacrificing our goals, but achieving them. And it's this system that I have turned into a planner. I am super excited to introduce to you the Budgeting with Confidence Predictable Paycheck Planner. Inside of this planner, you will learn how to set up and use my budgeting method, how to partner with God in your finances, how to refocus your heart and mind on your priorities, how to work through hard times and learn where your money went so that you can make necessary changes. Inside, you will find a budget prep and review section, a year's worth of paycheck plans, account trackers, and extra budgets in the back. You will also find verses on each page leading you back to God. I made this planner so that I could get my method out to mamas who are struggling with inconsistency, overspending, and life's unexpected expenses. For the mama who craves financial security to reach your goals faster, to build wealth to glorify God and her family. For the mama who is ready for a simple budgeting system that is not time-consuming and brings financial peace to the family. So, pre-orders, they are still open, but only for one more week. February 17th is your last day to order. So if you haven't already, head over to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner and pre-order your planner. This is a special Kickstarter campaign, so prices are the lowest they will ever be. There are many different packages that you can choose from. You can simply choose a planner, you can get a bundle of planners, or you can get a planner and some coaching so that I can assist you in setting up your very own planner. Again, go to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner and pre-order your planner before it's too late. Alrighty, so before we dive into the meat and potatoes of this episode, I want to do a quick walkthrough of what you're going to get inside the Predictable Paycheck Planner. I am super excited. I finally sat down and started using this myself now that I am finally recording again after having my baby boy, which I'm super excited about. So, I feel like saying welcome back, but to you, I haven't left, right? So, with that being said, I am going to walk through this planner. Now, on the outside, what you're going to see is a thick cover so that if anything gets spilled, as parents, we really don't want our stuff to get ruined. So it's definitely wipeable. There's pretty gold foiling on the front, which is just fancy terms of saying it's just really pretty font, and it's gold coloring so you can actually see what it is, right? Okay, and then when we get inside, you have a folder, a pretty folder on the front and the back. And then we get into the meat and potatoes of the planner, right? I do have a little intro note just saying thank you and hello and welcome and a little how-to of how to use the planner, right? So I've got the budget setup section, which we're going to go through. We've got the budget sections themselves. Then we've got the support that you can get outside of just the planner, and I have attached podcast episodes to the setup sections and the rest of the planner so that if you're confused as to how to set something up, you can quickly and easily go to this page, figure out where it is that you're struggling, and go find the episode that I have already recorded to help walk you through this a little more in depth. Now, yes, I do have a lot of instructions, but that doesn't mean that sometimes we need a little more clarity, right? So you can definitely get podcast episodes, or you can always just grab a coaching call with me, right? And we can connect through that. Okay, so when you open up to the setup, you're going to get my accounts and categories section, which is essentially walking you through setting up your digital cash envelope system and figuring out what envelopes you need, right? Then you're going to get your bills setup section, and this is where you're going to put all your expenses out, figure out how much you need for each paycheck so that you can start having regularity and consistency in your splitting up of your income, right? Because it's going to make it so much easier, so much faster, and less stress. You know that you're going to have the money and not have to worry about it, right? Then you go into what I have labeled Dream Plan Achieve, which are essentially just saving goals, right? So I'm going to walk you through how to set savings goals and how and where to put them in your budget, right? Because it's one thing to have the goal, but it's another thing to know where it needs to go in the budget. And we can have so many goals, so many dreams, so many desires. So this planner also helps you figure out where to put those dreams and desires, like how to prioritize them, how to figure out which ones need to be done first so that you are getting the important things done first, but then also still having space and time to achieve the rest of the goals that you want to achieve and have a space for it so you can see it, right? It's one thing to have it in your brain and it constantly being there and nagging you and you just really want to be able to do it, but then when you have it on paper and you can actually see what's going on, it just makes it so much easier, right? Especially if we're not sure of what to do. So then after our goals, we jump into my base budget system, right? I talk about this all the time on the podcast. I have 7 steps here in the planner to help walk you through the setting up of your actual base budget, your own base budget. You will have it set up and ready to go as soon as you sit down and start reading these instructions. And I do have it step by step, so you can do the first step, then come back, do the second step, come back, do the third step, right? Because I have all the instructions on one page so that you can flip over and have all the base budget in one location. Because when I was first setting this up, I was like, oh, underneath this, I'll put the actual spreadsheet section of the base income or the bills. And I'm like, no, that's too crazy. It's too much. So I put all the instructions on one section and then put the base budget on another section so that it was easier to see once you had it set up and you weren't having to flip through 1,000 pages to figure out what was going on with your base budget, right? So you'll have your base budget after that, and then you are set up and ready to run with my budgeting systems for that. So after that, you're going to find my budget prep and review section. So this is a section where you're going to connect with God, right? I do have a devotional to start it out at the beginning so that you can reflect on money thoughts and help to rewire your brain to what God says about money and to help you fight the selfish desires that we have sometimes so that we can actually do with our money what needs to be done instead of constantly going, well, I want this and I want that and I want this. And sometimes when we get into that mindset, we're not even thinking about our husband, we're not thinking about our kids, or maybe that is exactly what we're thinking about is only our kids and we're not thinking about ourselves, right? It can go either direction, but it still helps you just realign your mind and your heart with God before you sit down and do anything else, right? So I do want to say that this budget prep and review section is quarterly, right? So you will do the devotional, you will do the rest of everything I'm going to walk you through quarterly so that you can know what's going on in your budget, but not be so overwhelmed that you're doing it monthly. So after your devotional, we go into refocusing your brain on what it is that you are actually wanting to achieve, right? Helping you figure out what you have to get done, what you want to get done, and then the things that you are reaching for so that you can stay focused and figure out what's distracting you, what's keeping you from doing what it is that you actually want to do. Then we're going to go into your review section, right? Now, at the beginning, I have last year, or if you're starting this in the middle of the year, just what you were doing previously, a review so that you have a starting point, right? You're going to rank where you feel like you are with your budget, with your savings, with your tracking, with your goals, staying on budget, and all that kind of stuff, so that you know that when you go into this, what you're working towards, right? Because creating a budget is simply something that you have to practice and practice and practice until you get it the way you want it, right? And nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to think that they have to practice something and that they're going to get it wrong, because that's essentially what practice means, is that you're not perfect at it yet, right? And so this is the section that you're just reviewing what you did before, where you were at, like your rankings, your habits, the lessons that you learned, and the things that you were excited about that you did really well. And you can take that into this new chapter of budgeting and into the new season, right? After the first quarter, or at the very beginning, after the initial setup, that's what I'm trying to say, you will go into still the review section, but you're going to review the last quarter. You're going to review what you did previously in that quarter and take it from there. After the review section, you're going to get a calendar for 3 months for the quarter, right? For the next quarter. And I want you to go through there and put in like your bills, things that are going on, things that you know are going to happen, like birthdays, those kind of things, so that they're not a surprise. If something is coming up, like a wedding, put it in the planner right away, so that when it comes to budgeting, you can start planning for it and you can actually figure out what's going on and keep on track with it. Okay, so now we go, because that's just going to continue on for 4 months. I got to turn the page to the next section, which is the paycheck plan section. And this is where I walk you through setting up your paycheck plan. So it's one thing to have your base budget. Like that just gives you your numbers that are going to be recurring and consistent every single paycheck like that comes in, right? So when you sit down and you budget out your paycheck, you're going to be using the paycheck plan. So you could be doing this weekly, you could be doing it bi-weekly, you could be doing it bi-monthly, depending on how you get paid, right? So there are plenty of paycheck plans. There's enough for an entire year if you're paid weekly. So you've got plenty of wiggle room to mess around with, right? Especially if you get paid bi-weekly. So this is a section where you're going to start taking what you figured out in your base budget and you're going to plug those numbers into your paycheck plan, so that you are only having to budget out what is remaining, which I do the air quotes around that, because we know that there's going to be income that didn't get put in that base budget, because that base budget is essentially just what is going on in your budget if you were paid the least amount that you were ever going to get paid. So let's say that on a base budget of somebody who gets paid bi-weekly, they get paid roughly, because they have overtime, say $1,500 every paycheck, right? So every 2 weeks they get $1,500. And then you want to cut that back though. You want to figure out what the smallest amount could be. So no overtime. Maybe you want to cut out a day for PTO in case you have to plan for your own or pay for your own paid days, right? Or maybe you only get like 7 paid days off and you can still take other days off, but you want to make sure that you can financially afford it, right? So that could be something that you do as well. I have so many other ideas, so I'm going to stop there because it'll get long. I do have other episodes that you can go listen to learn more about the base budget. But just to keep it short and sweet and do the walkthrough, that is what you are setting up as your base budget, that are recurring numbers, so you don't have to rewrite everything like all the time and have to figure out your budget every single month. You have your base numbers, and then you divvy out your remaining income to whatever is going on. So maybe you have other savings accounts that you want to, or not savings accounts, but saving areas that you want to put money towards, like sinking funds, and you didn't have enough to put that into your base budget. This is where you would start putting that money. If you had something that needed to be fixed on the house, on the car, you'd put that there. If you wanted to, or if you had something going on like your wedding or those kind of things that you wrote down on your upcoming expenses, so like on the calendar, this is where you would put it, and this is where you'd be able to put everything down, right? You'd know that everything would get covered and it wouldn't be forgotten. I know that I am not perfect at that. I just recently forgot that we had to take a trip to get something done for my son, and I forgot about the trip, and we're going to get some extra clothes, and I ended up putting that money towards my car payment, and paid down the note, which does need to be done. But I'm like, oh, well, I kind of needed that money, so we're going to have to scramble around and figure out how to do this. But I know that it will be taken care of, and I am confident that God will provide and everything will be done the way it needs to be done without stress or worry. So even though I did that in an order that I probably would have done differently had I remembered it, I still am confident that everything will be fine. Okay, now off that soapbox, on the paycheck plan pages, you're also going to see a payday routine. So you're going to have steps on what to do, which there's only 5 things that I've written down for you to do every single time you sit down. And then you can add more if you want, but it's essentially just a simple process. It's not a lot of work. It's simple, short, and sweet. You can get it done. You can also write down your priorities, extra to-dos if you have to do them. You can write down the upcoming expenses that you have in your planner so that maybe you don't forget about them, or maybe as things come up, you could just put them in the upcoming section instead of on the calendar. Whatever is easiest for you to remember and to see, that is your doing, however you want to do it, right? There's also a notes section, because who doesn't ever have something that they want to write down, right? Okay, then after the paycheck plan section, there is the account trackers section. Now, I personally am probably not going to use these very much, because I would only be using them for my savings accounts and for my sinking funds, so that I can keep track of them, since I put them all in one account. But I figured I would put these in here so that if you wanted to use them to keep track of how much is in each account or what is going on, you are more than welcome to do that. You could also, take some scissors, cut out a section of account trackers and keep them in your wallet if you want to keep track of everything as you go instead of just in the planner. So that's another option for you. But I have a good amount of these account trackers. And like I said, the way that I do my tracking is not like on the things that I do every single paycheck. It's for the sinking funds to keep track of them. So again, I have an episode on that if you would like to learn more about how I track, because I don't like to do a lot of tracking, and I'm sure you don't as well. So then after that, you are going to find the extra budget section, because, we are going to be reworking your budget every quarter, but sometimes you need more budgets because something changed and you want to rework it, or maybe you have a possible job change and you want to see if you are able to do the job change without it affecting your finances. And so that is there as well to help you, with whatever is going on in life, because life is not consistent. It is definitely all over the place. Then after your budget or your extra base budget section, you have notes, lots of notes, so that you can just write and write and write. till your heart's content and have everything that you want in one location. Like you could maybe put your Christmas budget there, birthday budgets there, whatever other budgets that are going on, or maybe just thoughts, because, we always have thoughts, and putting them down on paper is definitely helpful rather than keeping them stuck in your brain. Okay, so that is what you are going to find inside of the Budgeting with Confidence Predictable Paycheck Planner. When you purchase it and you get it, you will be able to implement my system as soon as you get it, and it's super exciting. So with that being said, let's jump into real quick the 4 tips, or the 4, what am I calling them? The 4, I gotta find it. Where did I write it? The 4 ways a budget planner will help you stick to your budget. So if you haven't already figured it out, as I was walking you through that budget planner, but essentially the first thing is it just gets everything out of your head. There is no reason to be overwhelming yourself with all of this finance stuff and getting stressed over it because you are keeping it in your brain and you're not putting it on paper. Or even if you get a budget spreadsheet, get it out of your brain, get it on paper so that you are not stressed and overwhelmed. Decision fatigue is a thing. So allow yourself space to get that out of your brain onto pen and paper, and you know where it's at, safe and sound, and you can go get it. You can look at it whenever something comes up, and it's a lot easier. It also helps to keep you from forgetting things, right? Those so-called unexpected, which are more like unplanned. Somebody said that the other day. I'm like, oh, I love that phrase. It's an unplanned expense that we have forgotten about, right? And so get it out of your brain, put it in your planner right away, and you're safe. You know that when it comes up, you can tackle it next pay period, or if you've got some wiggle room in your paycheck right now, then you can take care of it now, right? Depending on what is going on. Okay, the second thing is it helps you practice what you want to do. I know I just mentioned practicing, and that pretty much tells us right away that we are not perfect and that we are going to fail and that something else is going to come up. And instead of freaking out and stressing out over being imperfect and not being able to stick to your budget, you have to practice. You have to set up systems. That's what this entire planner is a whole bunch of systems that you don't have to figure out. They are already figured out for you. They allow you to figure out habits and routines that maybe you would like to get done and help keep you on track and keep you accountable. Number 3 is a planner helps you to remember to check for upcoming things, right? So there is a spot in there that literally says, check for upcoming expenses. I know that when I sit down and I budget with just a spreadsheet, I forget that. Sometimes when I'm just quickly transferring money because I don't have time to sit down to budget, I forget upcoming expenses. I mean, I just told you that I forgot we had to take a big trip and I use that money elsewhere. But again, I am safe because I know that God is going to provide and I don't have to stress over it. But it's definitely helpful if you're not trying to keep everything in your brain that you're trying to remember, or even just other places, because I know that my husband and I, we texted each other some things that we wanted to remember to put in the budget, and one thing got forgotten because I couldn't find it in the text messages. So that's another reason why, if you have all your thoughts in one location so that it's easier to find, easier to see, then you don't have to stress over it. Number 4, a planner helps you to keep your priorities and your goals front of mind. So it is so hard, again, to remember and think about the long-term goal when faced with short-term desires. So we can go out and be like, oh, I really want that, and not think about the long-term thing. But if you have your planner and you are constantly reminding yourself when you sit down at each paycheck what your priority is, what your goals are, then you're going to remember them a lot easier when you're out there spending money versus if it was just in your brain, it was a quick thought, you're like, yeah, okay, I like that, and then you moved on, right? It's going to be so much easier, so much smoother of a process, and you're going to be able to go, okay, well, if I get this and I spend this money, then my goals that I have written down are going to take longer to achieve. Am I okay with that? Now, that doesn't mean that isn't going to be the case. There probably are going to be situations where you do spend that money elsewhere and you do create or decide not to use it for that goal that you're working towards, because life does throw something unexpected at you. I've had a lot of extra doctor bills for my baby that I didn't plan for and I didn't think was going to be the case. And so that's something that I just had thrown at me out of the blue. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to put these expenses now in the budget, which is going to be fun, right? So that is something that I want you to remember. I really want you, if you don't get this planner, to create a system or create a planner for yourself that allows you to do these 4 things. It allows you to get everything out of your brain so that you can remember the upcoming things, so that you can remember what is important to you and keep your goals front of mind, so that you can practice and practice and practice and practice and practice, and I can say that until I'm blue in the face. But practice what it is that you want to get done and make budgeting simple, fast, easy, and consistent. That right there is your key. Consistency is key in being able to stick to your budget. That doesn't mean that life isn't going to come up, but you will have a system in place that allows you to figure out what to do should a life expense that pops up out of the blue appear, right? So with that being said, I'm super excited about this planner. I really want you to go grab one. You can go to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner, and you can learn more about what this planner can do for you, who it's for. Maybe you have a friend or a family member that this could really bless. Send it to them. Let them see what it is that they can be doing, because the old traditional style of budgeting is super hard. It's unpredictable. It's all over the place. It's more work than us moms want to do, right? And this budgeting system is not that way. It's a lot simpler to see. It's a lot easier to track, because I know that when you have multiple accounts, it can be hard to wrap your mind around how to keep track of those budgets and those accounts. And this planner is how you do it, okay? So with that being said, again, go to bit.ly/predictable paycheck planner and get your planner pre-ordered today. And again, send it and share it with someone you love, someone you know who it could bless as well. And with that being said, I will see you right back here next week on another episode. Have a great and lovely, wonderful week. Hey mama, I pray that today's episode has inspired you and grew you. If so, will you please share it with that friend who is praying for a budget breakthrough, and leave a rating and review so that you can help get the podcast out to other mamas struggling with their budget. Also, get some support for yourself by joining my free Facebook group and becoming an insider, where you get weekly support emails and are the first to find out when something new is on its way. You can find the links in the show notes, and I will see you right back here next Tuesday.